Okay, hello and welcome to have a little look at my stash. I will first show you the furniture that I store my yarn in, and then I will have a little sit down and I will talk you through my stash. First of all, here is my shelf of disgrace, and this is where all my project bags and so all my whips are staying here at our living room. This is my yarn cabinet number 1. It's a very old one, sorry for the little sound. And this is what it looks like. Sorry for the lighting, it's December. And then another one on our bedroom. Change the floor. There's also some tiles because we have this bathroom renovation coming up. And here is the second drawer that I have my stash in. So now that we are here, I think we can start from this drawer. Here are some of my merino leftovers from different projects, some sock yarn, some things that I have dyed myself. I have some project yarn. This is meant to be a hat for myself. And some leftover merino yarns. I have a hat yarn for my husband. He wanted a red hat, so I bought this just quite recently. And then there is some baby alpaca, a random one skein or one ball, some cotton merinos. I think I'm gonna make a sweater for my godson using these. A leftover skein from this Adlibris soft wool tweed, 150-gram ball. I didn't really like using this one because it's very dusty. It goes up to my nose when I'm knitting on it. Then I have some merino yarns. These are Adlibris yarns. Not my favorites, but I try to use them up because I think it's a waste of not using the yarn that you have bought. These are my leftover balls from Novita 7 veljestä. And those are those Finnish Aran weight or DK weight woolly sock yarn. It's 75% wool and 25% polyamide, and that's where I have started my knitting career, using all those thicker sock yarns. And so I still have quite a few little nuggets left, and I have been thinking of making a northeasternly blanket. I will insert a picture of that on the screen now. So I decided that because I'm not a very big fan of using all those thicker woolly sock yarns anymore. Here I have a little bit more of them. So this is the yarn that I'm talking about, Novita 7 veljestä, and this is the content that it has. But now that I quite recently finished the project with that yarn, I'm thinking I'm not going to, sorry, I will change a little bit. There's a light behind me, so you get the shade. Anyways, I have been gifting this yarn weight a lot lately. I have been giving to my sister quite a few balls of this particular yarn weight, which is 200 meters per 100 grams. And that's only just because that's not something that I really like to work on or work with. It's not a very good garment yarn, or it can be, but I don't really like. It's kind of rough. So yeah, here is some of my sport weights. The same yarn, Novita, but this is the sport weight one with it is 270 meters per 100 grams, and that's called Novita Nalle. And I have also given these to my sister quite recently. And then I have just few balls of sock yarn in fingering 4-ply. So these are variation of German yarns and Finnish yarns. In this box I have my Merino Stash, so Drops Merino Extra Fine. I've been using these quite a lot. These are mainly leftovers. This was meant to be a hat, but it still hasn't become one. And yeah, here I have my sweater quantities. This was meant to be one of my own designs. I have swatched, so this skein is used. It is gum yarn. It's a pure merino wool, and I swatched and it didn't give me the result that I wanted. Sorry, I'm moving around. I just hate the shadow. Anyways, so this was going to be one of my own designs, but it won't because the gauge wasn't what I was looking for. But instead, I am going to use that to make a sweater for my dad. And yeah. And then I have a sweater quantity of Novita Woolly Wood. If you have seen my episodes lately, you have seen me use this yarn. I have this olive green colorway here that I'm going to make into Celeste pullover by Sari Nordlund. And then I have this Drops Charisma, which is actually already a work in progress, but I don't want to store all of that yarn in a project bag because it's just too much yarn. Then I have this cone. I have shown you this. I have shown you this in one of my episodes. It's most likely just 100% Finnish wool. Sorry, it's a bit wonky. It doesn't have any labels. It's just a cone of yarn. It's a DK weight yarn, and it will become a sweater eventually. Maybe the little sparks my size if Laura from Penrose Knits lets me test it. I have been harassing her about that test, and she has promised that I can test that for her. So this would be the main color for that. Then I have this amazing, beautiful Finnish wool, and this is so soft. It's kind of loosely plied, so it's very dreamy and soft, and it's this natural light gray color. And I have been thinking when one of my Instagram friends, Yksi Silmukka Kerralla, Erika, will publish her Tilta sweater. It's a very nice with the little cables and seed stitch on the back, cables in the front and seed stitch on the back. So I think this kind of fluffy yarn would go really well for that type of project. And then I have these little leftover nuggets. Here is a mixed bag of different types of, these are mainly wool, and there is also this leftovers from my lemon sweater. So this is the onion, wool and nettles yarn, but these are not good for socks. I might use them also into the blankets that I'm planning on making. And here is some mainly sock yarn, different types. I've been planning on making baby socks for the hospital, to donate for the hospital. So I have already looked up some skeins and divide them into 2 balls so I can work on those socks. And here I have just a little bit of mini skeins and just regular sock weight, or like 4-ply leftovers. I've been really good using them up. I pulled quite a bit to my woolly pants. So that's that. Let's move on to the next one. I will pause the video and continue soon. Okay, let's continue with this yarn cabinet that I have. I will now pull out all the yarn to show you. And I was thinking I will do the weigh-in now that I'm pulling them out, but I will do a proper wrap-up of the numbers and all that in a couple of days, maybe next week. Today is Tuesday, and it's the 7th of December, and this is my day off, so I will take some footage now a little bit beforehand so that I can then just add up the numbers and then come and tell you about that. But you saw already a little clip about this cabinet, and I will just now start pulling them out and then show you what do I have inside. So at this point I have no idea about the numbers, but in comparison I had something like 12.5 kilos of yarn last or this January, the 1st or 2nd, when I did my weigh-in. So I have no idea, but we'll see how it will add up. Here I have some leftovers from my love note. So this is the Canadian Bricks and Little yarn that I had. And here are some leftovers from my Pohjolan Emäntä sweater, which is not done yet, but this is the color work or the contrast color that I had. And then I have some leftovers from my painting bricks sweater, and these are all single ply Finchip wool, and they are from Cardigan. I think I have a label here somewhere, but I don't know where. And here are some wool yarns that I have dyed myself. I bought them together with the sweater quantity that I just showed you, the gray one with the fluffy. So I did order them straight from the mill, so it was pretty affordable. And I did some experimental dyeing. This one was their sock base, and I already started making socks with this yarn, but it was a disaster and they went back into the case. And then I actually have one of that sweater yarn already caked up because I swatched. I was originally planning on using this yarn for one of my own designs, but I have so many designs going on that I don't know if I have the headspace for that particular design. So I have this sketchbook, or it's just a regular notebook that I'm sketching whenever I have ideas. So I had an idea, and then I did a swatch. I did like the gauge, but because I had so many other projects going on, this was pushed aside. And when I saw the Tilda sweater, I thought that that would be nice for me to make with someone else's pattern. The next yarn that I have here, it's already caked up because I already started a sweater using this. This is Wool Me Once Fibers Safari wool. Pretty sure I have, I don't know if I have any labels from this. I'm not organized that way, but the color is called Ocrus Pocrus, and it was supposed to be a colorwork jumper, and it wasn't going to happen. So I have actually another project in mind. I think it's called the Poppy Sweater by Tifelian Hand Knits. I've already bought the pattern because I had this yarn and I saw the pattern was published. I bought it because I had the yarn for it. It's a nice two-colored sweater pattern, pretty easy patterning, and I'm gonna pair it with this dark gray that I have dyed from the mill yarns. So I have 3 skeins of this. That's enough to make a sweater. It's fingering weight, although it's kind of plump yarn. So I do have like 400 meters in one of these cakes, so it will be plenty to make a sweater. One of these cakes already looked pretty bad because I did start a sweater which didn't work out. So that's for that. And my newest purchase, and this is I think I mentioned that in my last episode, that I ordered drops brushed alpaca silk. I don't know if it's focusing or not. Yes. This color is stunning, this sort of smoky denim blue, and I blame Penrose Knits for the color choice, because she's making some beautiful blue projects, especially her the first sweater by Hive Knits, which she's testing. She's using similar color palette, and I had to order some yarn for my husband's slippers, so I wasn't going to pay the postage for just 2 balls of yarn. So they had this brushed alpaca silk on sale, and this will be a love note sweater for me early next year, maybe, hopefully. So that I have quite a few balls of. These are 25-gram balls, 140 grams, 140 meters per one of these balls. And then I have some knitting for olive silk hiding in the cabinet. And this is this was supposed to be my summer tea that I was working on last summer. I did make the gray one, but then if you have seen my episodes, you know all about that, so I'm not going to into too many details. I have swatched. This is a lazy swatch. So I I did, this is like 12 centimeters wide, and when I had like 4 centimeters, I cast off half of the stitches and then did so that I can check my row gauge as well. So it's a lazy swatch. Yeah, so a summer shirt, maybe my own design, or actually I've been thinking of maybe making the Ciao Bella tank top that Sari Nordlund has designed last summer. And I have bought the pattern for that because it's very beautiful. I will actually put a picture here on the screen of that pattern. I really love Sari's designs, and I know that I'm not the only one because she is a very talented Finnish designer. And yeah, so I have a lot of knitting plans, but sometimes it feels like I don't have enough time. But eventually I will get into those. So most likely this will become a Ciao Bella tank. On to the next one. I have this beautiful brown merino single. This I bought last summer. It's Handu yarns. When we went to the yarn festival with my friends. So this is my swag sweater. I did buy also a yellow one for the contrast, but I ended up giving that yellow in my giveaway because when I was looking at these colors next to each other, I wasn't sure that the yellow was the right fit for this brown. So I need to buy another contrast color to go with this brown. I've been playing with the idea of maybe like a dusty pink, maybe like a, I don't know. We'll see. I'm more of a mustardy person, so something like this would be definitely right up my alley. So that might also be the case, and I might end up using something like this. And that was my original idea, but the yellow that they had at the market or the festival, that was a bit too, it was a bit too light for that vision that I had. So this will be my swag sweater. I have also put a picture here. And then my favorite yarn dyer, Kaarama yarns. The dyer is called Tina, and her color palette is just right. It hits home. It's just really my kind of colors. These are also from her. So when I saw that she had this Tweedy base, it was her newer base that she was trying out, and she had something made with this particular colorway, and I was like, I need that. And I had just designed a pattern, or I had a sketch. I still just have a sketch, but I have a very clear vision of what they will become, and they will become a sweater, and you will see when you will see. But I have a sweater quantity of this as well. And then, if you have seen my episodes before, you've seen me, or you've heard me talk about my Steekalong 2022, and my own project for that Steekalong would be or will be Selly cardigan, and I did buy this single ply Finship wool for that Selly cardigan. This is a beautiful forest green color, and yeah, I just happen to love this type of wool. This one single ply or one strand Finship wool, it's divine. So this will be my Selly cardigan, using as a contrast, using this gray, which is from my aunt's farm, and also a leftover from my painting bricks shawl. So these will be my Selly cardigan. And the Steekalong is starting the 1st of January. So if you are interested joining my Steekalong, I will have it running for 3 months, and that's plenty of time to make a steeked cardigan. And I will run that over the Instagram, and I will also have a thread on Ravelry, and I will have prices. I don't have prices yet, but I will be having some prices to draw from each place. And then now that we are in the topic of single ply Finship wool, these are something that I dyed together with my aunt last summer. These are the same base as this. So single ply Finship wool. Sorry for the awkward. I do like dyeing up these little slightly variegated yarns. So it's darker bits and lighter bits. Sorry. I don't know how much you can see. I do have to have a lamp on, even though it's 10:30 in the morning. It's pretty dark here, and this is not the brightest corner of our house because it doesn't have windows very near. The window is behind us. So yeah. Now that we are on the subject of Finship wool, this is the same yarn that I'm using for that poppy sweater, and this is the same thickness, Aurinkokehrä Finnish yarn, rustic Finnish yarns. These I have also dyed myself. It was originally this natural lighter gray, but I did give them a little dye bath. So I don't know where I will use all of it, because I think one of these will be enough for the poppy sweater. And then I have one other skein of Finship wool. This is a 2-ply, but it's still fingering weight. I bought it from this yarn store over the summer, and I think I talked about this in one of my episodes. This is a no-label wool, but it feels very similar to the Finship wool, although it is 2-ply, but the weight is definitely fingering. And yeah, I bought it for €2, so it was a very much of a bargain. So I have had this idea of a colorwork cardigan that I would use up these little nuggets of Finship wool that I have left, and then I would use also the white as a contrast. So we'll see what will happen, but I have this vision of a little bit like a Mary Wallen all over colorwork cardigan, but something a bit more graphic. I don't know. I might just doodle something on my iPad and go from there. But I do have quite a few sweater projects coming up, so I don't know when I have time to actually do that, but I do have the yarn for it. So this bottom shelf is done. I just have some magazines, some pattern magazines, and then one of my sock bloggers apparently is living here. And then here on the top shelf, this is also going for one of my designs. I have made a tryout shawl already, and I bought this in the summer. I will show them one by one. So this is just absolutely stunning. These are merino singles, and they go together very well. And they are going to become a shawl one day. I have already written the instructions for the shawl because I have already knit one of those previously. So whenever I have have the time or the inspiration for that project, I think this would make, even though the colors are quite fall like, I kind of like that idea of a spring shawl with this, because the design has some lace on it, so I think it would be nice and springy to do. And then the last bits that I haven't shown in this cabinet is my Topsy wool. And these are these were sent me from Canada, and these are worsted weight. And I've been thinking maybe to make slippers or like a very nice bulky hat using these. This green is definitely my color, so I was thinking maybe I will make a hat for myself using these. And then the last things that are hiding in this corner, there's one. It's sock yarn. It's a sock base, Freya yarn. This colorway was just so stunning. It's a little variegated green. I was actually thinking of using this into a t-shirt. I have a couple of leftover greens that would fade really well with this one. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But I'm thinking of maybe because I have this idea for the sweater with this one. I was thinking maybe to make the same sweater as a t-shirt using this, and then some complementary greens that I have at my stash. And then this is a sock yarn that I won over Instagram. It's I can't remember who was it that dyed this, but I did win, and she sent me this sock yarn, and this will be socks for myself at some point. It's nice and bright, and yeah, very cheery with a little bit of speckles. Very beautiful, very bright. So yeah, and then I have one one undyed skein of I think this was the soft sock base. This is 80/20 merino nylon sock base, and I had quite a few of these and just the 75/25 sock base, and I have been using up all of those, and this is the only one that I have left. So I will either use it as it is undyed, or it's here if I need to whip up a dyed skein. I actually did dye some yarn for my shawlography, and I used this base that I had here. And those were all my yarn. I do have maybe a couple nuggets of cotton bamboo yarns, but they are in my boys' bedroom, in a cabinet over there, or a cupboard, and I have given most of those also away. So there's maybe 2 balls of black and 2 balls of turquoise. So you don't need to see that. But now I will go and weigh all my yarn, and I will also weigh the yarn that I have attached to my projects. So I will include the projects into this count, because that's what I did last year, and that's how we get the whole amount that I have yarn, even though some of it is already been knit, but the projects are not ready, so it's still, I consider it as yarn before it's done. Okay, this was the first part, and I will get back to you in a couple of days with my numbers and with all the details about the amounts that I have. So here we are on another day. It's been a week since I filmed some footage to you from my stash, and now I would like to go through the numbers, and then I will show you something that I have recently dyed, and then one finished object that is very holiday themed or holiday related. So I would like to share that in this episode. So I dropped the pen. So as you saw, I have a lot of yarn. The situation has been escalating for 2 years now. I started knitting 2018 maybe, like properly, and then I started knitting socks. I was mainly doing socks, but 2020 was the year for me when I started garment knitting, and that has made some changes into my stash. Also, the fact that I am designing a lot of things, it also shows in my stash, as you saw. So I'm not taking any pressure of me hoarding yarn, since most of the yarn that I have some sort of a purpose, and they are just waiting their turn to be knitted. So all in all, I can say that I have developed a stash that mostly has yarn that I'm really excited to work with. So I have gotten rid of or knitted up the yarn that I'm not very inspired about. So yeah, all in all, I think even though my stash is quite big, it still is a stash that I'm very much enjoying. So I think I'm in a good place with that. So I have put some numbers here to you guys, and I will start from the numbers from January 2020, which was nearly 2 years ago, and that was the first time when I did weigh in my stash. And January 2020, I had a stash worth of 5,980 grams, which is just under 6 kilos of yarn. And in the year 2020, I knitted up 5 kilos and 190 grams, and that included 41 items during that year. So I did knit up, well, I did buy a lot of yarn, but I did knit up almost the worth of my stash in the beginning of the year. So nearly 6 kilos, bit over 5 kilos I knitted up during 2020. And then January 2021, so the beginning of this year, I weighed in my stash again, and the situation had escalated a little bit, and my stash the beginning of this year was 12 kilos and 827 grams. And that means that my stash doubled, even more than doubled during last year. And I did also knit 5 kilos worth of yarn, so I bought a lot of yarn. And late last year, I came into conclusion that I'm just buying yarn because it's fun. Everywhere I go, I see yarn, beautiful yarn. What to make with it, I don't know. I just buy it anyway. So I decided that I will try to make my stash more project friendly, or that I would buy yarn either a project quantity, like a sweater quantity, or I would try to buy yarn if I know what it's going to be. So I started buying for projects in mind. And as you saw in the video before, that the sweater quantities that I had were all meant for a certain project. So I think I succeeded with that. So beginning of this year, I had 12 kilos, 827 grams. And I have knitted up 51 items this year. And that's 7 kilos, 690 grams worth of projects, which is, I think, quite impressive. At least I'm very proud of my achievements, and I'm very proud of my projects. I have been enjoying knitting this year more than ever. And the final number was the, the volume of my stash, and my stash today is 16 kilos, 474 grams. So I have gained a lot of yarn this year. Some of it was given to me, some of it I have given away. So I have bought a lot of yarn. But it's also my job partially. So all the yarn that I have bought for the design part are of course for the company and not for my own hobby type of thing. So yeah, but that's my stash, my friends. So I thought that I would come clean with all these things today, and here it is. And the next video will be my whip parade where I show you all of the whips that I have. Actually, I had put here, one second, I will find it. So my stash was worth around 12 kilos, and my whips weighed 3 kilos 765 grams. And I count my whips as in whole, like I will weigh in all the unfinished sweaters with the yarn that they are stored in with in the project bag, because then the projects are yarn until they are finished. So I have weighed in all the project, all the unfinished sweaters, socks, and everything. So they are in the yarn count as well. I wanted to show you something that I have made recently, and this I haven't shown on the podcast. Even though this is a bonus episode, I thought that this is very Christmas related, so I will show you this. So I made this elf. I will put the name here on the screen because I can't remember it and I can't remember the designer. I made some modifications. It would have had like an I-cord swirl on the hat, but I left it off. And there was also some decorations for the hats. I also didn't make those. And these braids were made with cable, like knitted cables. But I had this pencil rowing, and I made these braids using the pencil rowing rather than making some cables. I also made the mittens. I made them a little bit from the top of my head because it would have been, the dishwasher was beeping, sorry. Sorry about that. It was supposed to start the mitten from the tip and then work through the arm, but I started from the arm and then I made the ribbing for the mitten. So there's 1 by 1 rib and I winged the mitten, and it would have had like an I-cord thumb made with 3-stitch I-cord, but I was lazy and I didn't do that. But I really like it. I think it's very festive, and I don't think this is probably not going to be my last gnome or elf or whatever. Gnome. This red color was from my advent calendar, and I really liked the red, so I wanted to make something with it, and I had this gnome plan, so here it is. Now that I mentioned the advent calendar, I wanted to show you some of the colorways that I have gotten. I picked all the favorite ones that I have received this year, and here they are. As you may know, if this is if you have been here before, you know that I'm into more fall colors, these muted but colorful palette. So I thought these were exactly that. There has been some pinks and some purples. The purples went to a good home already, because I have a friend who really likes that kind of palette, and she's been helping me a lot with my patterns. So I rewarded her with the purple skates because that's definitely not my color. And one more thing is my up and coming cow, my Steekalong 2022, and I will put the hashtag here. It starts on the 1st of January, but whips are allowed, and we are making steeked cardigans together, and I will host this knit-along, steekalong on Instagram. Let me know if Instagram doesn't work for you. I can make a thread to Ravelry as well, if that's something that people want. But I was thinking this would be Instagram only. So we would have the hashtag for the cow, Steekalong 2022, and Steekalong 2022 FO, as in for the finished objects, because I will draw prices from both hashtags, and the finished object prize will be the grand prize there. So my plans, according to this Steekalong, I was planning on making 2 different cardigans. One I have been talking a lot. It's this Selly cardigan, which I already showed you in the previous video, the picture. And then Maya cardigan, which I'm planning on making first because I found out that I will have my second carpal tunnel surgery in the beginning of January, or it's on the 11th. So I will try to whip up my first steeked cardigan before the surgery, because you never know how long it will take me to recover. Last time it was very quick, and I'm hoping this time it will also be as successful as it was. But I did some dyeing, yarn dyeing, and here's my main color for my Maya cardigan. It is slightly tonal, this rich wine red, burgundy. And if you have followed me, if you have seen my episodes before, if you have seen my episodes from the summer, you know that I bought this cone of wool from the trip to this yarn store. And this was unlabeled wool. It is DK weight, 2-ply. Just it feels very woolly, and most likely it's 100% Finnish wool. So I had that cone. It was 1 kilo's worth of yarn. So I took 300 grams out of it and dyed up some base color for my Maya cardigan, and I was thinking of pairing it with black, white, and then this undyed version of this yarn. Gee, sorry. Even though it's 10 o'clock in the morning, it's still very dark outside. We have a tree here, we have lights on everywhere, so I don't know how well you can see all the colors. I'm hoping just fine, but who knows how it will look like. But yeah, please leave me a comment about the Steekalong if you don't want me to just host it over Instagram, because I can do it also in Ravelry. But I was thinking, if it's not necessary, then not, because Ravelry is not the place that I am the most active. So yeah, here was my stash. I hope you managed until the end. And yeah, this is me leaving. I will just say that happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas, and enjoy the time you have with your families. And if not, then I hope you still enjoy some quiet time over the holidays, and yeah, eat a lot of chocolate. Bye.